Hello, girls, gays, and theys. Welcome to my plant tube channel. This is Soil Free Bee, and today is my leca-versary. Yes, it is. It is my 1 year leca-versary. I have been growing in passive hydro for exactly a year. Ooh, and what a year it has been. What a year it has been. So I'm going to be breaking this video down into 3 parts. The first part is going to be how and why I started growing in semi-hydro. The second part is going to be me showing you a TikTok that I did exactly a year ago. It was a TikTok that was like, transfer these plants into semi-hydro with me. I'm going to be talking about where those plants are now. They're right behind me. And then the third part is going to be my pros and cons for passive hydroponics a year later. Let's start with why and how I started growing in passive hydro. So I had gotten a plant. It was a syngonium, and I got it at a Gilbert Farmers Market. The guy told me like this plant is going to be an easy plant for somebody who doesn't know how to take care of plants. I don't know why people recommend syngoniums, because syngoniums for me were very, very hard to get right. I didn't even get a syngonium like growing and happy until pretty recently, probably about 3 or 4 months ago. I took this little syngonium home at the beginning of my work from home journey, and I had the plant right next to me at my work from home desk, and I was so excited. That excitement quickly died because after a couple months its leaves had started turning brown. I was watering it probably way too frequently, like way too frequently. It definitely got root rot, and by that point I had started my plant tube journey. So I had found a bunch of plant tubers, and I figured that I could just make a soil mix, I could repot it, and it would start thriving. I went to Home Depot, I got pumice, I got Miracle-Gro dirt, I got cocoa wire, got some sort of bark, like orchid bark. And I decided that I was going to make my own mix. And I bought a couple plants, like 2 or 3 plants from Home Depot, and I started my journey. I repotted all of the plants. I didn't give these plants enough time to acclimate or grow because my sun sign is a Virgo, and I just want to take care of everything, including plants. So I was overwatering these plants. I was bothering them a lot. I was not giving them the time that they needed to grow. Coming from somebody a year later who is growing healthy plants. At that time, I was like, maybe I just can't grow in dirt. Like, it was a really big goal for me to be able to grow plants. My mom grows plants. My grandma grows plants. It's very much like a family thing that I want to be able to grow. I want to be able to be like my ancestors, and I want to be able to take care of plants and have a green thumb, so to speak. I fell into a deep dive, a YouTube and Google deep dive, and I was like, how am I going to grow plants and not smother them with love, with my love? I discovered leca. And I was like, that sounds like something that I can do. I won't be able to smother them. I went to my local IKEA. I got 2 bags of Odala, which is what they call leca at IKEA. Went to Amazon and I got the 3 nutrient Flora Grow series from General Hydro, and I went to work. My cat is up here now. If you see her, I'm sorry, but she's really cute, so it's like no biggie. I got 1 plant from Fry's, this Monstera Adansonii from Fry's. I got this Scindapsus from Rooted in Green, who is an Arizona retailer. They do online sales. The plants that I've gotten from them are really healthy, and they're doing really great now a year later. So I definitely recommend their shop, and I will put the link down below to Rooted in Green. And then this one is my Michiwagi. Hi. And I got this green pathos right here, also from IKEA. So this is the fun part. This is a really fun part. I'm gonna show you this very TikTok that I made exactly a year ago today. So I'm going to show it to you. You'll actually be able to see the plants that I have here, but a year previous. So this is the Scindapsus. So it had 3 leaves with 1 leaf coming. Oh my gosh, my Monstera adansonii is right there. It's so small compared to what it is right now. And then this was this plant. This completely reverted. It was a marble queen. I actually don't know what they're calling it these days, so don't come at me. It completely reverted and now it's just green, but it's still beautiful. It's still thriving. And then this little green guy is my rattlesnake calathea, which I still have. It's right behind me. Let's real quick just watch this. It's not very good. It's not good production. It's not very entertaining, but we're gonna watch it anyway. Got some plants with me. They're going from dirt to leca. That was the dirt I tried to make a creation out of. That peace lily died because I kept my window open during winter and it was easy breezy and the plant was not happy. It died. It got shocked and it died because it was too cold. And we'll keep watching now. All done. Come and repost. That's it. It wasn't very good. It was like 15 seconds of pure awkwardness. I'm going to show you guys these plants and these roots a year later. This is so exciting. Okay, so this was my Marble Queen Pathos. It is now just a complete green Pathos, but again, like, we're not upset. We're not angry with it. It's doing its best. Look at these roots, though. Look at these leca roots, baby. Oh, beautiful, gorgeous. She's doing so well. So that is my green Pathos after a year in leca. I'm gonna put it back in its cash po. Oh, it's so pretty. Okay, this is my Scindapsus. It was way bigger than this, but I propagated it. It actually is growing 2 leaves after propagating, so I'm very proud of it. And let me show you these roots, baby. These roots have a little bit of algae on them because, oh my god, a ghost. A ghost. This has a lot of algae on it, mostly because of the fact that it was growing in a glass container. I put it in this white cash po recently, so there's still a little bit of algae on there. These are the roots. They're very healthy. They're very strong. There's a couple that are like rotted a little bit, but it really be like that sometimes, you know. I think I just overwatered it a little, but overall, it's doing wonderful. Or else it wouldn't be popping out 2 new leaves at the same time. And I have 2 separate plants because I separated that plant into 2. I'm only gonna show one just because it's really hard to lift them out because these are not enough support, these bamboo poles. But don't yell at me. Okay, I'm doing my hardest at being the best plant mom that I can. Not to be dramatic, but I wanna die. No! Dear Lord, God can't stop me from showing people these roots. Maybe he can. Hold on. But these are the roots. Bro, this bamboo pole, see what I mean? It's not enough support. Okay, it's going back in its home. I'm gonna put this back. Hold on. That was my Monstera adansonii. We only have 1 plant left to show you that was in that TikTok video, and it's this rattlesnake calathea. It's kind of suffering from bugs. The bugs are gone now, but there was bug damage. But it's okay. It's okay. Because look at these roots. Ah! Ooh, wow. They are so cute. So she's doing her best. She is thriving, okay? There we go. Those are all of the plants. Hi. Fancy meeting you here. If you cannot tell, my background is different, my hair is different, my makeup is different, and that is because I filmed something that the audio was like really low, like halfway through the video for some reason, but like 1/3 of the way through, and I was just not very satisfied, and so here I am with you today, refilming, telling you all about the pros and the cons of passive hydro, in my opinion, solely my opinion. So let's get started. This is gonna be the last and the final part of the video. Let's start with the cons because, baby, there is a lot of cons, okay? My first con is gonna be that starting in passive hydro is very, very expensive. Okay, for the average human being who probably lives paycheck to paycheck, this is probably hard. There are a lot of nutrients. Buying net pots is also very expensive. Buying leca can be very expensive. Personally, I've bought all my leca from IKEA. I got a gallon of leca for free from my neighbor as well. If you live in an area where an IKEA is very close to you, it can be very accessible to obtain leca. If you are not near an IKEA and you have to buy leca through Amazon or through some sort of company, it can add up, and that is a con. Starting can be expensive. It doesn't have to be, but it definitely can be. My second con is going to be getting distilled water. To me, that's a very, very big con. I live in a state, Arizona, where the water is very hard. There's a lot of minerals in our water. It's not the greatest for plants, especially if you're growing in semi-hydro and you're adding all this nutrients to water that already has minerals in it. Getting distilled water can definitely be a con, at least to somebody like me who is a little bit mentally ill. Tasks can seem very, very daunting. I think especially if you're considering transferring a very large collection into semi-hydro, you will be needing a lot more distilled water than, say, me. I only have 40-ish plants and I get 7 gallons of distilled water a month. 5 of those gallons I convert into nutrient water, and then the other 2 gallons that I have, those are to normally water my plants. Getting distilled water, it's not very expensive, at least here in Arizona. It's about 25 cents per gallon, so for 7 gallons, that's $1.50. It's not too bad where I live personally. Just getting it can be daunting. It can be annoying, like putting 7 gallons of distilled water in your car and then walking those 7 gallons of distilled water into my apartment. It's a lot. Like, I take my boyfriend, he helps me out. That's just something to consider if you are thinking about growing in passive hydro. Also, storing nutrient water is also something that you have to think about. For me, I have a shelving unit that I got from IKEA. I use this to store a majority of my distilled water. I store about 5 gallons down there, but I have a big 2-gallon water container, and that does not fit in my designated shelving unit. Fortunately, I just kind of have this out, like right next to my shelving unit. It's not the prettiest, it's not the most aesthetically pleasing. So if you're somebody who's all about aesthetics, like, girl, I get it. If you are considering or thinking about growing fully in passive hydro, that is something that you have to consider. How big is my collection? How many gallons of distilled water am I going to have to get? And where am I going to store this stuff? My next con is making nutrient water. These are like the basics of growing in passive hydro too. These are the cons, but I'm just giving my honest truth. And making nutrient water is so irritating, especially if you have ADHD, you have depression, have anxiety, you are mentally ill. It can be very daunting to have to make nutrient water every month and have to get distilled water. Making nutrient water can definitely be another con to consider. You know, it's messy. It takes a lot of time. It doesn't take a lot of time. I make 5 gallons of nutrient water and it takes about 30 to 45 minutes. It can just be irritating. It can be annoying. Just like getting distilled water. It's just a task that I don't like to do. Am I going to do it? Yes. Am I going to complain about it every single minute of the way? Yes. You know, facts are facts, and that's what I'm saying. It is rough and annoying. That is actually my final cons. Let's get on to the exciting part, which is the pros. For pros, I don't have a lot of pros. A pro is a pro, okay? The first pro is growth. You can control your plant's growth. Obviously, sometimes you can't, but if a plant is growing and it's growing at a good good rate and you notice a leaf that came out that is smaller than the last leaf that came out, that's a sign that you need to up your nutrient water. You need to up whatever you're adding to your nutrients, and then hopefully the next leaf that you have that comes out will be larger than the last leaf. So that's definitely a pro to me, that you can mature your plants at a faster rate than I believe you can in dirt. Not saying that you can't mature your plants in any sort of medium, but this is just from my experience of growing in leca. I have been able to have really large leaves come out, and being able to control my nutrient water, I personally believe that that has affected my plant's growth. Another pro is if you're like me and you are constantly planning out every single thing in your life. Baby, I have a bullet journal. Every day I have something to do because I put it on the schedule. So for me, a huge, gigantic pro of growing in passive hydro is that you have the same watering schedule no matter what. All of my plants, I water them on the first day of every week. So on Monday, I go around, I water my plants. I don't have to worry about them for another 6 days. I just get to look at them every single day, see the new growth that's popping out, and just enjoy my plants. I don't have to go around with a moisture meter and like stab them. Look at these nails, baby. You think I'm gonna go around touching dirt? No. Not to say that if you have long nails you can't, but that is a boundary that I am setting, and I am not going to put my nails in dirt. That to me is a pro, especially like if you're somebody who really likes to have plants around you, but taking care of them can be daunting. You only have to set aside one day, probably like it takes me about 30 minutes to water all 40 of my plants. It can be something that is very speedy, and afterwards you just feel very satisfied, especially if you're a smotherer like me and all you want to do is go around and water your plants every single day because you're like, oh my god, they're thirsty, they're hungry, I need to take care of them. Growing in semi-hydro and having that one day a week where you water your plants is a huge pro to me. And if you're like me, you might want to consider growing in semi-hydro. My last pro is that it raises the humidity having my plants in semi-hydro. I live in Arizona where it is summer 8 out of 12 months of the year. It is not an ideal place for houseplants to grow. Not to say that they can't grow here and thrive here. You just have to manipulate their environment. I do that by growing in semi-hydro. These plants are having a lot of humidity in their cash po. Their roots are very humid, and that can make the plant happy. That can make the plant raise that humidity in the vicinity of the plant. If you group your plants together, no matter what medium you're growing in, those plants are going to have a good amount of humidity. That is my last and final pro. The humidity can be raised in your plant, and that makes your plant happy. Why not make your plant happy? That is my list of pros and cons after 1 full year in semi-hydro. Let's go back to past B, and she'll finish off this video for you. If you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for stopping by, spending some time with me, talking about plants. If you are interested in semi-hydro or passive hydro, if you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments below. Happy leca-versary to me, the cutest and best plant mom. I'm not the best plant mom, I am cute. But I'm not the best plant mom, as you can clearly see. These are overgrown. They are struggling. But you know what? Aren't we all struggling? If you clicked on this video, you better click like and subscribe too, because there's more content coming. I'm really excited for the content that I have planned, and I hope after watching this video, you are too. So happy leca-versary to me. Thanks for spending time with me. Once again, do not forget to hit like and subscribe. Don't forget. And I'll see you here next week. Bye.